Most companies claim they want diversity, but when it comes to hiring, unconscious bias still creeps in, and top talents get filtered out for the wrong reasons. In today's case study, we will see how Deloitte challenged their own systems and opened doors for a more diverse future. Welcome back to BizCase Studio, where we break down real company stories and extract MBA lessons you can use in the real world. If you find value here, don't forget to subscribe. Today's focus is on Deloitte and how they redesigned their recruitment to fight hidden bias and broaden their talent pipelines. Here's the gist. Deloitte realized their hiring system wasn't attracting the full spectrum of talent. It wasn't intentional but unconscious bias in CV screening and interviews meant some great candidates were never getting a fair shot. So they decided to disrupt their own process. Before we get into the critical analysis of the case study, let us first see about Deloitte. Deloitte is a giant with hundreds of thousands of employees across the globe. They advise everyone from Fortune 500s to governments. But even a company of this size realized to stay competitive, they had to reflect the diversity of the world they serve. Now let us get into the critical analysis of the case study. What was the problem? Deloitte noticed a pattern. Applicants from less prestigious universities or with names that didn't sound traditional weren't making it past the first round. It wasn't always deliberate, but the process was skewed. That's a problem when your clients and the society you operate in are incredibly diverse. Here's what they did. First, they stripped away the labels. Interviewers no longer saw which university you went to or what your name was. All they saw was your skill, performance, and mindset. They also expanded their campus outreach, visiting schools outside the traditional bubble. It wasn't just a policy shift, it was a cultural one. And the results were powerful. Deloitte saw a clear jump in hires from schools that had been underrepresented. And those new hires, they thrived. It proved what they already suspected. The problem wasn't lack of talent, but flawed filters. So that was a case study. Now let us see what, as an MBA student or the MBA learnings from this case study, we can get. So, number one, unconscious bias affects systems more than people realize. Not just people, often in business, we think of bias as a personal flaw, but in reality, it's institutional. The way we write job descriptions, the filters we use in recruitment software, the emphasis on certain schools or companies, all of that creates invisible walls. Deloitte realized this. Instead of focusing only on diversity trading, they re engineered the system that was unintentionally filtering people out. That's a strategic, systematic solution, not just a cosmetic fix. Number two, redesigning process is a leadership responsibility. Many leaders delegate diversity to HR as if it's a separate function, and this is seen in many of the companies. Anything related to diversity or anything related to people or the employee, we just direct it towards the HR department, and none of the top hierarchy, the leaders or the boss is like concerned about this. It is an HR's issue, as if it's like a separate function. HR is also a part of the company which is governed by the leaders. But Deloitte's senior leadership took direct ownership by approving name blind CVs and CV blind interviews. They sent a clear message: inclusive hiring isn't just good HR, it's good business. For MBA students, this is a classic example of top down change. That is, where senior leaders create the condition for new culture to emerge. Change doesn't happen unless leadership drives it. And that is what we can learn from Deloitte's case study. The leaders took this big step of or this big change in hiring. They broke that traditional way of hiring, getting from the top universities and all. They broke that barrier because the leaders took this decision, and the leaders drove this change. They are the drivers of this change. Let's go for the third one. Inclusion requires action, not intention. Every company intends to be inclusive. That's the easy part. But what Deloitte did was act on that intention. They changed where they recruit, how they evaluate candidates, and even who gets to interview. This aligns with the core MBA learning. Strategic execution is more important than vision alone. Every company has a vision and a mission, but it's not something to be put on the board or put on the website just to show that this company has a vision. It is the strategic execution that is more important. Vision is a statement, that is our aim, that is something we look forward and to achieve. But in order to achieve it, we need to focus on the execution, and not just the execution but a strategic planned execution. Inclusion is not a mission statement, it's a set of daily actions repeated consistently, backed by metrics. If you have a mission statement and if you are not acting on it, and if you are not able to achieve profits or goodness for your company, then that's a wrong thing. So being inclusive or inclusion is not just any statement or something that we have to put it on a board or a website. It is a set of daily actions. Let's go for the fourth one. Diversity improves performance and decision making. From a purely business perspective, diverse teams are more innovative, adaptable, and able to serve a wider client base. It's very simple. For example, if you have a team, if your team has a mix of Middle East uh, people, a little bit of Western people, and a little bit of Asian people, then you have opened a huge door where you can accommodate almost all kind of clients because of the diverse team. The Middle East, because of the Middle Eastern people, you are able to attract Middle Eastern clients. Because of the Asian people, you can attract Asian clients. So, diversity or the diverse teams are more innovative, adaptable, and able to serve a wider client base because we say, right, large number of people, more number of ideas, better will be the execution, and the result will be of great height. So Deloitte didn't approach diversity as a PR strategy. What they saw it as a way to strengthen their talent pipeline and improve client outcomes. Studies show companies in the top quartile for ethnic diversity are 36% more likely to outperform on profitability. This is a reminder that diversity is a competitive advantage, not just a checkbox. Number 5, hiring for potential scales better than hiring for prestige. Finally, Deloitte's shift towards potential based hiring rather than prestige based hiring is a long term talent strategy. Elite universities don't have a monopoly on smart, capable people. By looking beyond brand names on a CV, Deloitte opened up a much larger pool of talent. This is a valuable MBA insight. That is when building scalable teams focus on the capability and growth mindset, not just resume prestige. That is very important. If you want your business to thrive, if you want your business to succeed, then you have to be impartial from the basic hiring. Don't go for just for the namesake, like Harvard, Stanford, Oxford. No. Look at that person's experience, growth mindset, skills, capabilities. That is what will help you because just by Harvard or just by Stanford or just by Oxford, maybe that person might not be having so much of skills which you can compare with a normal person who might have been coming from a basic local college, but that person might be more skillful. So of course it's not, it is not like Harvard is not at all good or something. No, they are the best. Everyone knows they are the best, but that doesn't mean that others who are below Harvard or who have come from a very underrepresented college are not best or are not good at all. That is what Deloitte teaches us. Don't look for the brand, look for the actual meaning of that person, that is the experience, the capabilities, the ideas, the experiences. That is important. So in summary, Deloitte's case shows us that real innovation in business comes from challenging comfortable norms. By redesigning recruitment with fairness in mind, they didn't just become more inclusive, they became more future ready. So here's something to think about. If you were building a hiring system from the ground up, what would you keep blind to avoid bias? And what would you highlight to bring out real potential? The way we design our filters say a lot about the future we want to build. So think on this, put your comments on the comment box, and let us brainstorm on this. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching. We have got more real world case studies coming on your way, all designed to connect business theory with what actually happens in boardrooms. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the bell icon, and the like button, and do share this with all your circles and your friends. Subscribe to BizCase Studio and stay tuned for stories that matter. Thank you and take care.